Alright. Try the bottom one I just sent.
Yeah, that actually looks real nice.
Okay.
That's
Alright.
the
New link?
by far the best iteration shown so far. Yeah,
Okay.
Let's do
no
this.
lag, clearest resolution.
Um, grab that link.
Oh, it looks smooth.
So,
Copy link.
I'm going to be learning too. It's been a while since I've been in the builder because I never have time to actually build. So, this is a treat for me too. So,
Do it.
um, let me know when everybody's ready. We'll just start.
Good whenever.
Word.
All right. So, the first things first, right? When you're building a strategy, obviously, you would need to be at Trade Lab's website. So that'd probably be handy. But, let's do it like this. So, I'll start with a buy and sell template, and we'll just build off that. Where are you? Alright, so we'll copy the setup, right? This is if we wanted to do a strategy of our own from scratch. You'll go to community strategies, take a template, and you don't have to do this. You can literally create a strategy from scratch. I'm just using this for simplicity purposes, okay? So we'll copy it, let it do its thing. Now it's in our inventory of strategies. This is also Jake's testing account, so there's 101 strategies on here.
The generic one?
Yeah, did we pass it? Alright. Okay. So, every strategy has multiple parts, right? You have your rules, which are just an if statement, okay? So, these are all just giant if statements. These boxes here are telling them what to do, right? So, majority of the time, this data, when it says custom alerts, it's referencing data that you're going to be sending from TradeLab. So, I know Jake changed how the alert builder works, but if we go over here, the little alarm clock button, you can see that this strategy has two alerts built in. Buy alerts, sell alerts. And if we edit it, it has, this is called JSON data. When you're sending out data from whatever supplier you want, whether it's TradingView, Twitter, you send us JSON data, okay? And what this allows us to do is to put whatever we want into a message, and TradeLab will know how to read it. So we always have gone with type and symbol. Well, symbol is something generic in TradingView, but you can put whatever you want. So this is an alert. The type of the alert is a buy alert, and it's for symbol, right? So the symbol right here, this little bracket ticker, that's something from TradingView. So what you would do is you would take this, right, and let's say we wanted to do RSI. We would go to RSI and we would create an alert on it. And it's as easy as this, and we can start sending data to us. It's this simple. We put it into the chat box, the little message box on TradingView, and let's say we want to do RSI crossing up over the 30 line. So we know that it's been oversold and now it's come out oversold. This is a very, very basic example. We can get more specific than this, so we could even like know how long it's been in oversold. You could do all kinds of crazy things. We could put in a variable in that sends us an alert for every single bar that RSI is oversold, and we can log that and reference it. So we could say, okay, we just got an alert from TradingView that says RSI is crossing up and over the 30 line, so it's coming out of oversold. But how can we know that it wasn't just a quick boom oversold for one bar and now it's out, right? Because no one wants to be in those kinds of trades. When it's oversold for just a single bar, typically it's just a fluke or some kind of crazy wick. You want to see it go oversold and cross up very gradually, especially on the higher time frames. So you can do all kinds of shit. That's why I say when the possibilities really are endless. I mean, you can do very specific things that no one else allows you to do. So we're just going to say we want to know when RSI is crossing up and over the 30 line coming out of oversold. We're going to take our webhook URL, which is right here in the little alerts tab in the alert builder is what we actually call it. And you'll put it in the webhook URL. This is the only thing you need checked under alert actions. And you take your message and you put it in there, okay? So, say we wanted to know the current value of RSI, right? What we would do is, I'm pretty sure this is how it works on TradingView, but we would simply reference, do a dynamic reference and go to a TV variable and reference the close bar price of RSI. So this is going to go off of whatever indicator you're on. So if you get the close price for this alert, it's going to be RSI's close price because we're referencing the condition for RSI. So does that make sense? I just want to make sure you all understand how to do that, because a lot of people want to know the value of the indicator, because that becomes a very powerful thing, because then you can really get specific. If RSI crossed over and it's only at 31, maybe we don't want to take a trade because that's not a very strong push up out of oversold. So that's an important thing to remember, is referencing these specific things that TradingView allows us to. But and then of course we'll name our alert, and it's just going to be RSI crossing oversold. Okay, and then we'll do it on once per bar close, and we'll create it. And so that is the simplest example of getting an alert to TradeLab, right? So we'll save this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it from buy alert, and we'll just pretend we made a fresh alert. And we'll just call this alert RSI crossing up oversold. We'll remove the instructions because we don't need those. And we can, be specific and say in the condition. You don't have to put this RSI is crossing oversold up. And this is just more description for the alert, right? But in here you would specify what exchange this is for, but we don't have an exchange set up, so we're not going to worry about that. So in your alert, like I said, you'll want to type usually. This isn't really a buy alert. This is just really a piece of data, a piece of information that I want. But you can have it say whatever. None of these fields really matter. What matters is what you want to put. If you want it to be a buy alert, make it a buy alert. if you want it to be named RSI, if you wanted it to be named fucking unicorn, it doesn't matter. The point is, name it something that you know in your head means something. So I know RSI OB up. So, or sorry, RSI
So what's the
sold up.
string and dynamic boxes? Like the strings under type and then dynamic. What's that mean?
This is referencing what type of data we're sending. So here you can select string or number or true or false, right? So say this was number. That lets TradeLab know to expect this field to be a number. So it's saying, I want this to be a number. I'm expecting wherever this alert's coming from to have the field type in it, and it's going to have a number in that field. Does that make sense for you?
Why didn't you just name it
y-
integer?
I just don't understand what string means. The other
String
two
is a
options
text.
make perfect-
String is text.
Okay, copy.
String is any kind of text. And also, string can even be a number, but it's just in a text. It's in quotes. So if you look here, it might be hard to see, and I'll put it in Discord if you can't see it. But in this alert message, you'll see type, and then it's got quotes, right? So anything that's quoted is a string. Anything, so if we go to number, it is no longer quoted, and it just has a solid straight number, and that's all that means.
Okay, and that's referencing what you are typing in for the value, not necessarily what's coming from TradingView.
Correct. So this might be a little confusing, right? Because if you were writing PineScript, you could get a little more dynamic, and this may be different. But for your all's case, this is what you're going to be putting in the message for TradingView to send. So if you're gonna send a number, like a solid number, I don't really know a use case for where we would send. I don't know a use case for where you would send a number that you already knew, right? Because the point is for us to get data. Maybe like a multiplier or something. But this alert message is simply just helping you create a message for TradingView in the simplest way. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. The alert message here, the reason we put this here is to assist you with quickly being able to create a message for TradingView that TradeLab's going to understand, okay? So anything that... I don't know where I'm honestly going with this part. It's just the message that you're going to put into the alert for TradeLab. That's it.
Well, right, but it's got to be. I mean, it's got to be accurate to what you're doing for TradeLab to understand it.
Yes, correct. But my point is that you don't necessarily have to, send us a number or anything. Like I said, we could delete all of this and just put a type and call it by, and then in our rules say if we get an alert that has type by, do this. I just don't want you to think that you have to have these fields.
Okay. And then what's the dynamic checkbox?
Dynamic is basically pre-filled fields that we've created. So if it's dynamic, we give you the ability to select these dynamic type slides or values is what it really is. These are keys and this is a value. So if we check dynamic, you get the option to select TradingView variables, which is literally just if you go to TradingView, let's see. Variables and alerts, right? So this looks familiar now. This is just us giving you stuff that TradingView gives you, but you just don't have to know it. We're not making anything here that's special. This is literally just us giving you a list of everything that you can pull from TradingView without knowing how to code. So there's ticker, the current exchange, the alerts on, the close, open, high, low, time, anything that you can think of. And so there's also, this is more complex and we'll go into this later, but you can also easily pull any piece of data basically that's in an indicator by using this plot number feature that TradingView's given us. But do you see the connection here? All the dynamic is basically pre-filled out things that are commonly used, and so TradingView variables are commonly used. So we just give you those dynamically, and you just select it from the list. So you don't have to know to pull the closed price. You have to do double curvy bracket, closing double curvy bracket. That's all it is.
Okay, so I guess maybe the simplest way would be when would you want that box checked and when would you not want that box checked?
Well, it's kind of preference, right? Some people may just write this alert message outright because it's not anything special. It's just a JSON message. It's just a way of typing data that programs can easily understand. But the time you would want to use this is basically, if I was in your shoes, right, and I didn't know how to code, if I was to read documentation, which we're working on, the documentation would most likely say, if you're trying to pull the close price of the current chart that your alert's on, reference this dynamic variable from TradingView. So
if I'm understanding you correctly, it's almost like an on and off switch, right? Like you're saying that I'm actually using this this tab or this feature, so pull this data.
Correct. The easiest way to put it, I wish I had a better word for it than dynamic, but off the top of my head, I really don't. This box being named dynamic would be better fit like I want to say like TradingView variables, but the problem is it also allows you to reference your strategy variables and your global variables. Basically, checking the dynamic box is telling TradeLab that you want to reference a value that has already been created by TradeLab or by TradingView, or by, basically those are the two choices, or by yourself. It's either going to be something that we've created for you to use, or it's going to be something that TradingView allows us to use.
Okay, so like a use variable or don't use variable, basically.
More or less, but it that's a bad way to put it, honestly. But yes, dynamic just gives you the ability to quickly reference a variable that we've already created or that you've already created in the variable tab. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The reason I didn't want to say it turns it on or off is because even if we didn't have this checked, we could still do bracket, bracket, close, bracket, bracket. And it would be the same thing as checking this dynamic box and having it set to the close bar price. All it's doing is just building your alert message with data you've already created. It's just like a quick toggle switch, more or less, to use a variable that you've created already. Because going deeper into this, the better way to do this, to present all this, would have been to start with variables, because that's really the heart and soul of building a strategy, is the variables. But since you all have literally never really done anything with it, I wanted you all to see just the simplest possible way to send TradingView alerts, and that's just what we did. I mean, create an alert on TradingView, go into the alert builder, and just build a simple alert. So literally, like I said, I mean, if you could delete all of this stuff right here and just put a string, type, and name it buy, and take this over to TradingView and create an alert on RSI and this would be enough to make a strategy to buy when RSI is oversold. You just would set it
Right.
and put it in, right? So that is the simplest possible way to explain what we're doing here. So, but what makes TradeLab more powerful than other places? Because other places do that. You can send a single signal and open a trade. But TradeLab, using the variables, allow you to chain multiple alerts together, essentially. Is it kind of clicking to anyone? Like seeing what you could possibly do by sending multiple alerts in? Because, so look, say
Yeah, I think so, because you're basically all these conditions, aka variables, have to be met for
the alert to meet. Exactly. So let's
It's giving me idea for multi-time frame stuff.
Yeah, you can now, dude. I do that. That was what I used to do with Market Cipher all the time. Like my strategy was, and I'll show you how to do stuff like this. My strategy was literally if we had a big green dot on multiple time frame charts at the same time, then it was time to enter a trade. It was that simple. And later on I added in like RSI oversold or to remove trades that weren't valuable and shit. But so let's go back to this, right? We've got our buy alert. Our alert, TradeLab knows that this alert should have a symbol attached to it and the type buy, okay? We've set the alert on TradingView to trigger whenever RSI is crossing out of oversold, okay? So what we do now is, this is, remember, a pre-made template. You can just pull this template and kind of customize it how you want, but let's pretend all we have is this entry rule, and it's got custom alerts type equals buy, okay? So if we just had this and we got that alert, nothing's going to happen, right? Because this if statement doesn't meet all of our it doesn't, the alert that we get doesn't, or actually, I think it might trigger it, because even though we got the symbol alert, we're not specifying. Yeah, so forget what I just said. That alert would trigger this. It would trigger a buy signal, and it would place the order for whatever you've configured it as on the side. Have any of you all not been to this page and seen the configuration that you can do? Like on the strategy itself?
Hey, Miles, are you meaning to not share your screen?
I'm not sharing my screen. I'm on YouTube.
Right. Sorry. Okay. I came in like.
You're good.
Okay.
The link
Yeah, to
is in
answer your
the
question,
text.
I've seen that buy sell thing. I played around with it.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have not.
Okay. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second.
I'll probably be the standard for the least knowledgeable here, to be honest.
Haven't seen that page, but only because I haven't finished setting up the account. I've been lazy.
All right. And any question you have, anything, like any idea, I want you all to tell me, and we'll do it. You know, if there's something you all want to do just to see how it's done, tell me, and we'll fucking do it. You know, I want this to really, drive in the point of what we can do. So feel free to speak at any time. All right. So we've got our buy alert coming in. It's going to trigger when RSI is oversold and crossing out of being oversold. But who wants to just do that, okay? Actually, Wise, you said you haven't seen this part. So this is your trade settings. This is where you configure what the trade's necessarily going to do, okay? So this is where you would select if it's active or not. This is where you would select spot or contract for market mode, your exchange for the trade, because each strategy can be trading on a different exchange and a different symbol. We don't limit you at all. Well, in some instances we do, based on your subscription. We'll limit you on how many active trades you can have. But that's what this section's for. That's going to have your buy or sell. Is it supposed to be longing or shorting? Is it going to be a limit order? We have tons of types of amounts. You can do a percentage of your available equity, your risk percentage, how many contracts, USD, how your risk USD, coin. We literally let you do anything you can do on the exchange. So that's what this is for. Just how you're going to configure the trade. That's all it is. Does
Most of that's pretty self-explanatory. Just what's the time and force?
Well,
category?
So that is
Ooh, and risk USD.
where do you see time and force? Oh,
well, so in your amount type, I saw risk USD, but yeah, time and force is like a few boxes down.
Yeah, so time and force is like good till cancel, fill or kill. It's like the type of trade that you're placing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Just like it would be on the exchange when you're going to place a trade. So some of these amount types I haven't used, but USD would be, so USD is like, I thought it used to say USD exact and USD relative. Huh. No, that's your limit offset.
USD relative be for coin margin.
So USD relative would be like the relative amount in USD for that coin.
Oh wow, risk percent. So you could just say each trade I'm okay with risking this percent of my total account, and it's going to do that math for you.
I believe that's what Jake's done. I haven't used risk amount before. That's something I have not played with yet.
Should probably grab a notebook and just make note of these, because so far everything's extremely logical and almost all my questions.
Listen, man. Listen, me and Jake have talked about this, right? It's we're teaching people who don't understand basic logic. There is nothing in here that you should not be able to do with basic logic. Like it's totally built around basic logic, the whole program.
Yeah, it's just different verbiage, I think, than at least I've seen in a lot of other places. It's easy to hammer out.
And also, please, if there's something that's more like traditional in other places, let us know. Because we want it to be very simple for someone from somewhere else, obviously, to come on and it all just click. So please, anything that you see, tell me, let us know.
I'm here real quick. I can shed some light on the risk percentage. So risk percentage is based off of your amount that you want to risk and your stop loss. And then it takes into account your leverage. So the way that it works is if you want to say risk, what's my example for this? If you want to risk 1%, so if you want to risk 1% and your stop loss is at 1%, and you have a leverage of 10, it would be 1 divided by 1 divided by your leverage.
Oh, fantastic. So it's choosing your margin size based on what you've already put in for stop loss, leverage, and
yes.
Okay.
So if you wanted, I used to have an example of this already figured out. What was it? 5%. If you want 5% and your stop loss is at 1%, and you had a you had a leverage of, was it 10? So 5 divided by 1 is 5 times 100. You'd need 500 percent but then you do a leverage of 10 and it's 50. Yeah, okay. So you want to risk 5% and you have a stop loss of 1. 5 over 1 is 5 times 100, you need 500%. Divided by your leverage, which is 10, you now use 50% of your balance for that trade.
Okay, that's really cool.
I actually do plan on the old builder. I had a panel that showed you like the estimated margin amount and the estimated order size and stuff like that. I plan on bringing that back. I just got to put it in the new UI. That's it.
All right. And then there's other really fancy cool shit that Jake does in here. You know, you can set a limit timeout, which will close your order if it doesn't fill, if it's on fill or kill after a certain amount of time. There's all kinds of stuff. I highly recommend just hovering over the little exclamation point, and it will tell you what it does. It's very simple, very logical. So, with that being said, back to the long entry. Unless anyone has any questions, any other questions about the trade settings. Alright, so, long entry. So what's a typical strategy? Let's talk about this, right? What is a standard trading setup that people like to use here? How does someone trade? Like if you weren't automating it, you know, how do you trade? You trade price action. What's your indicators? Are you momentum trading? Are you using Market Cipher, Vu Manchu? What are you doing? Crossing?
I
think most
use
people use
Lexalvo and
Market.
Market Cipher.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's use Vu Manchu then, since I don't have a sub to Market Cipher.
I would imagine people use at least consider price action, but I certainly do. So I wouldn't mind if you explained that aspect as well.
So price action is probably the most difficult thing to do. I'm still figuring out the best way to do price action, right? But it also, you know, so what do you consider price action? Is it patterns? Are you looking for double tops and double bottoms? What is price action to you?
I'm usually considering higher highs and higher, lower lows, things like that on the different time frames.
Okay, well then that's actually simple. Not really that simple, but simpler. So what I like to do for that is simply using the pivots higher high, higher lows. And I don't know actually if the default one has this built in. You might actually need a custom indicator for this, but they're all over the place.
I think we did have a pivot point indicator that we were people were saying good things about.
If you have one, yeah, I mean, we can use that for sure. You know, I'd like to use stuff that you're familiar with, but...
I'm not as familiar with. I feel like others around here might be. Just can't remember who was using that.
Yeah, I don't think this one lets me put alerts on it. Yeah, it doesn't. So, what you would have to do... Pivot alerts. What version is this written in? 3.
Yeah. I think. I mean, feel free to use whatever you found. I was searching, and I think volume profile pivot anchored by DGT, indicator by DGTRD. Flex model.
Let's see what this guy's doing. Interesting. Interesting. Let's see what all he does. Ah, cool. So he gives us data. Nice. Actually, let me look at this. So, this guy will send us alerts if price touches / crosses the point of control line, or if price touches or crosses the value area high line or the value area low line. And it also will send the high volume price for whatever ticker you have selected. So now that goes back to what is your definition of price action? Because to me, none of that really is price action. Let's see. So he would send us an alert if it crosses that or if it goes down under it. So this goes back to another thing that I preach. Trading with things that you understand, like how they work. So you want to always understand what an indicator is doing. So what this indicator is doing is anchoring to the pivot point this volume profile, which, let's see if it supplies us with what we would need. But you were saying, Wise, that you like to know higher highs and higher lows. So I don't necessarily know if this is going to give us that, but we will see.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of any indicator that would, because I just look at the chart and maybe jot it down on a notepad, up on this time frame, down on this time frame kind of thing.
So now this does actually, there is some that exist. I just need to find out where they are. And if it doesn't exist, this is something that Des would be able to write in 2 lines of code. Because he just needs to attach an alert call to it, which is extremely, extremely simple. But that is, going back to knowing how to write code. But it is only 2 lines. Let's see. Pivot alerts. This is reversals and stuff. Wait a minute. Here we go. Lux Algo definitely does it. I'll be so blown away if they don't. Wow. That's crazy. They sure don't. I do want to show you this though, because I'll have to find an indicator for you, but all that you would do is you would find whatever pivot point indicator you used, as long as it allowed alerts, you would just create an alert that sent the close value of the pivot point.
Just this past since Monday, like 5 days.
So
And that's like, dude, I'm sorry. No, but I'm going to Germany, I think.
I just don't have.
Yeah. But I just wanted to let you know that
Maybe this version of Lux hasn't.
If you have access to their SR premium, I think you can use their swing
Yeah,
structures.
I do. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be out price action, right? Because it's just the theory of sending alerts, anyways.
Yeah.
Boom. And I think you can set an alert where price action is crossing up or down from those pivot points.
Yeah, it won't even let me do that.
You can turn on their channels and do the same thing with the top and the bottom of those channels.
We could also just use like Wu Manchu because it's something I think everyone's pretty.
I would use Fu Manchu's dots in confluence with the top and the bottoms of those channels.
Yeah, so what I do if I was to use Market Cipher, this comes with kind of like, you know what? How about this? Let's fucking go over how to do Jay's levels. Since all of you all follow Jay, right? And all of you use Market
Yeah, because
Cipher.
all we really need to see is just the process of sending an alert, right? And then we can come up with which alerts.
Yeah,
A lot of us love trading levels, so that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do that. I don't have Jay's shit though, so y'all have to give me some levels. Or if one of y'all, you can import a chart, right? Yeah. Can't I?
Yeah, we can toss you some. Sorry.
Hey, Den, are you there? Piece of shit, Den.
Yeah, Miles. I'm a little bit delayed, but I DM'd you that shit earlier today.
And I can import that in a trading view?
Yeah, it's my chart, but it's shared from his that I tweaked. So yeah, all you have to do is just copy it and edit.
I can't open it.
Here, let me do it again. I'll do another one. No, sharing is on. Copy link. Let me DM you. I'm watching it on YouTube, so it's like 30 seconds behind.
Oh, I forgot to turn off the delay.
I just muted the stream and then kept my volume on in the Discord.
Yeah. Zero. Alright, that eventually it should catch up. Copy.
Shit, I just thought of something.
What?
You probably don't want to make this video public.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, just hit save.
I
There you
mean,
go.
but I don't think it really matters. It's not like it's something, you're asking me for help on how to, you know, create a strategy around someone's, it's not like it's not like they own these levels, you know what I mean? All right, so I assume his levels are these big boxes.
Yeah. Oh shit, you can't see Market Cipher B in the bottom.
Yeah, I have Fu Manchu though. I'll just add it.
Oh, now you got Dezo script.
Oh
See,
shit.
it's
Nice.
custom, so now all that proprietary stuff goes out the window.
All right. So how do you all trade this?
So let me switch back over to what you're doing. Yeah, so we would say like I like to do. Let's say we're going to do a short, right? We're above most of those
If you
levels.
want to share your screen and show me, that would probably.
Ooh, my stuff's kind of a mess. But
Dan, what
so
about
okay,
you?
so looking at yours, like let's say we came down to the green boxes down below us, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and we were thinking to long that, I would normally go, I set my alert for when it's crossing back up if I'm looking to long level. So it goes, it dips below the box. As it's crossing back up, I would have it check for different confirmations. So like, money flow increasing on the 1, 3, and 6, or 3 and 6 minutes good. Honestly, once you go to 12, I feel like you miss it a lot. Or if it's had a green dot in a certain period of time, then take within a certain time period, then take the long.
Okay. So you're looking for money flow increasing if it's crossing out of the box. If there's a
Yeah,
green
bullish
dot.
momentum, increasing money flow is probably the two big ones, because I think that's what the green dot is based on anyways.
Okay. So none of this other shit matters though, just these green boxes and the green dots and money flow.
Yeah, or you could even use VWAP as well too, like if the VWAP is crossing up or heading up. But I think the main thing is probably like money flow and momentum.
Okay.
And then we'd use multiple different time frames, but I find if I start using the 12-minute time frame, I miss a lot of entries. So I usually keep it below
Jake,
that.
open up the object tree on the lower right-hand corner.
You just called me Jake.
Oh, My bad. I'm
That's a
like,
heavy
seriously, I am just staring at this fucking trade because I'm like, yo, I jumped in way too early and my mind has not concentrated. I haven't been paying attention to anything you've been doing, like anything at all. Lower right hand corner. Close that fucking
I'm already
rating
in
there
it.
or
You're
whatever.
delayed.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, Miles.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you don't sound like a Jake to me.
No. Just hide anything that you see fit in there.
Yeah, no. All right, that's straight. All right, so look. For this, I'm going to start from scratch, right? So this is going to be MCB plus key levels. All right, so the first thing I would do is create my variables, right? So let's go over what we're going to need. We're going to need to know the value of money flow. So we'll call this money flow. We're going to need something I always like to know. The value of blue wave. All right. We also need to know that's probably it. I don't think we need to know anything else. Okay. So, at least not yet. Maybe as we dig in. All right, the next thing are alerts. First alert, price in zone. So do you, Wise, what do you go by the way? You go by Wise or what? Wise? Hello?
His brain exploded.
Yeah, I can still hear you.
No, I was in the other room taking a piss. Yeah, either one. Wise works.
All right, so do you like to know when your price has entered the zone, or do you only care when it's exiting?
When it's exiting a certain direction, right? Because normally I would just drop. It's less about the zone. I would actually probably just put a horizontal line
Okay,
at,
that's
like,
what
say,
I'm
the
gonna
top
do.
of that zone. And then when it's crossing up within a certain time frame, um, that's usually just all I care about.
So we only need to know when it's exiting the zone, basically.
Yeah, like I like to do an alert. For longs, I would do crossing up on my horizontal line, and for shorts, crossing down.
Okay. So to do this, we're gonna make an alert for price crossing. Okay. We need to know a type, and we'll call our type CU for crossing up. And we need a symbol, we need an interval. Does everyone know what the interval is?
Interval is in the time frame.
Correct. Of the chart.
Okay. Yeah, so I like 3 and 6 minute personally.
Gotcha. Well, you'll see why we're going to use that. So that's one of those dynamic variables that we pull from TradingView. So TradingView is going to put it in the alert for us. That way we know that this alert came from this time frame. And you'll see why. All right, so we have price crossing up.
And so interval is just your label for your own record keeping, right?
Interval
Like
is interval is TradingView's terminology. Interval
copy.
is that's why we reference a dynamic TV variable. It's the TradingView variable. So interval, and there's a bunch of these. Anytime you see these like curvy brackets with something in between it, like it will always be curvy brackets with a word in between it. That's a TradingView variable. And that's how you create alerts in TradingView and pull data from your chart or from TradingView. So, like, say we created an alert for whatever BTC price increased by 1%. And we wanted to know what exchange it increased on. You could put bracket exchange bracket, and it would tell us dynamically. So now we can just create a bunch of the same alerts on different charts that are on different exchanges, and we can just easily pull the exchange into our alert. Does that make sense?
So,
All right. So yeah.
yeah, I mean, because basically all my question was on there is like if we could just use our own like time frame, but it sounds like it's better to just use the trading view variable names for things.
Yeah, that's the simplest way in my mind, but I mean you could literally, I mean you can do whatever you want. You could put time frame and still reference the trading view variable for interval, or you could not
Okay,
reference
yeah,
it
that's
and
good to know.
put one. It's not something you have to do. The only time you would have to do it is if you wanted to easily know the close price or the open price of every alert, or a piece of information from an indicator, which you'll see shortly. So this is for crossing up the line, so we'll save that. And now we're gonna make our next one, which will be crossing down. Price crossing down line. And it's gonna be CD. And interval. And also something I should mention is, you see how this is on alert template DCA? You can go in prior to doing all these alerts and create different alert templates. And it will pre-fill out all these field names. So like we could go to support high and lows, and it's already got all this shit filled out for you, and then you can take it and put it into your alert. But we're just gonna stick to the one that I've been using wherever the hell it is. Huh, it's vanished. Interesting. You know what? Let's just do this. Alerts. Well, I can't do it that way. I gotta do it like this. New template. Yeah, so we'll do it like this. Okay. Yeah. Let me look at something. It's so weird. Okay. Hey, Jake, can I not rename the alert templates from here?
From where?
From the alert builder?
No, you got to go into alert utility.
Okay. Alright. Alright. So, the alert template is just simply for making a template of data so TradeLab can know and expect what to get. And it also makes it easier to move them to a different strategy and easily add them in. So we'll just use this new template. Interval is going to be interval. Symbol is going to be what the hell? Oh, okay. So if it's blank, it automatically selects ticker. Interesting. All right. So, and this is going to be for crossing down. So we'll do price crossing down line, and that should be enough for what we need. And then we are also going to do green dot. And we'll set the type to GD, and that really should be the only thing we need. Yeah, green dot. And then, so how do you like to go about money flow? You just want to know it's increasing, or do you want to know it's crossed over the zero line? Or do you want to know if it's green? What do you like to know
I think increasing, especially in these small time frames, right? Because if it's a reversal, it might be low. So we'll just go with increasing.
So do you
And also, anyone else feel free to chime in too, because if someone else knows that like the official strategy, then yeah, speak up.
All right, well, we'll just keep it simple then and do money flow increasing.
I'll speak up. You're doing it all wrong.
Sick. So, hey, let me ask you something, Jake. I just want to make sure. So, say I have an alert template with a bunch of fields, right? And say I want to use the same template for all of the alerts. What if some of the fields are going to be null?
It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, as long as whatever alert or when that alert fires, it's going to run your rules, right? So it's not going to pass any rule that needs the field that's missing. So as long as whatever field that, if you have an alert that's sending 3 out of the 5 fields, as long as that alert is supposed to run a rule that isn't paying attention to the 2 missing fields.
Okay, that answers my question. Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. So what I'm going to do is
If I understood that right, I think I got a great idea.
what you should do is put all of the information you're going to need in one template. So like I said, going back to the very beginning of all this, is what I like to do is I like to get the value for the indicator. Like, I care more about the value of what the current money flow is at than I do if it's crossing over a line or not. So, like, I would put in money flow, and I would also put in something I did in the back in the day when I was working with Market Cipher a lot, is I would put green dot, and this would be the actual value of the green dot, so I knew how deep the wave is. You know what I mean? Because personally, I'm a believer with Market Cipher that the bigger the wave, the more momentum. But some people don't think that, but I do. So yeah, that's something that I would
Yeah, definitely. That bigger wave is an anchor, and the smaller one's a trigger.
Yeah, so I try to get as much data as I can, always. So we're looking for money flow. So we can assume that money flow would be a number. So we'll leave that as 0. And this is going to be a number as well because it's the green dot value. And symbol is referencing the current symbol the alert's on. And our type is going to be crossing down. Another field we might want is close, which would be the current close price. Alright. So now we will do this. We're going to have, let me look. What all do we need? Okay, so now in my variables, I'm going to create a green dot value of latest green dot, and it's going to be a number, and that's fine. We're gonna have money flow value of latest money flow. It's also going to be a number, and it's currently 0. I think that's the only variables we really need. Alright, so what we're going to do now is build our strategy. So our first rule we will call our we can call it set money flow. And we'll have set green dot
Bro, the help bot really wants to help you.
yeah, it really fucking really wants to help me. I'm trying to think of all the conditions we need. So
That's the help bot.
fuck the help bot. Alright, and price crossing line. We'll make an entry rule. Enter trade. Alright. So we're going to say if we get a custom alert with type and it equals wait, hold on, let me make sure. Yeah, let's go with that. Pretty sure that's what I said, but we'll set it to that. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Alright, so if we get a custom alert and its type is money flow up, we want to set our strategy variable for money flow to equal custom alert I'm sorry, it's supposed to be down here. So remove. We're going to set our strategy variable for money flow to equal our custom alert of, where the fuck is it? There's so many. This isn't what I called it. Is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And this would be... Okay, so this is another thing that gets kind of complicated, so... I probably should do this another time. But you remember I was saying we can pull values from indicators? So, if you look at my screen... I'm going to pull up the data window for all of my indicators. So all of these values here are values that we can throw into the alert message and send to TradeLab. And we can use that to do many, many different things. You can do math like saying, is the green dot greater than RSI's current value? Or we can say, is the green dot negative 100 or more? If it is, then enter a trade. Just little examples like that. But anyway, so the way this works is these are plots, and if we set the value to dynamic, and we go to trading view plot name, all you have to do is count. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. It always starts at 0 at the top. That's the way it works. That's like a way how programming works. And the first number is always 0. So we would find where money flow is in this list, which it looks like Vu Manchu uses RSI plus MFI area for money flow. So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we would simply do the number 6. And now what's going to happen when we get this alert, it's going to contain the actual value of money flow at that time. You don't have to do that. You can simply send an alert for when money flow is up and say, set a variable that money flow is currently up and be done with it. So I'll try to keep it simple.
Yeah, that'll probably be the best way, especially because that's kind of the process we use with at our previous place too. So I think most people will be familiar with that.
Yeah, no, I just want you all to see like all the things that you can do, right?
Probably, yeah.
But moving on, let me set this, since I just this has to be plot number, and then you just select plot 6, and then green dot is buy and sell circle. 。 Which green dot do you use on Fu Manchu? Den?
I don't use Fu Manchu.
Which one do you use on Market Cipher?
Uh,
The
I mean, if
big
I'm gonna
dot
do
that
this,
appears at the very bottom?
yes and no, because the big dot generally appears on the anchor wave, and the anchor wave is the thicker one. That smaller one that you just had your mouse over. Oh wait, this is delayed.
Well, it's not anymore. You
It
should
is
have
for
caught
me.
up.
Are you sure? Let me unmute it and double check. Yeah, it's still slightly delayed, only by like 10 seconds. That smaller anchor wave, that's the one that I'd go off of. So not the BitBoy green dot.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
The one at the end of the divergence line, right?
Yeah.
On Fu Manchu, you can set an alert for that particular divergence line. Because you could just do it off of that instead then. Right click Fu
You
Manchu.
can.
Yeah, you can.
There you go.
Yes. Yes, you're right, you can. So then,
That
yeah, I
could save you
mean,
a bunch of time.
yeah. Well, that's not, the other reason is, like I said, some people like to know how deep or how high the wave is. So, but yeah, no, you can absolutely just go off this if you're using Fu Manchu or whatever indicator you're in. But that goes back to just the indicator having the alerts that you need to do certain things, and in some cases it might not. So you can kind of build the things that aren't there on indicators, right? Knowing how to really use TradeLab. So, and that's can be done with math and shit. So, like, say you're constantly updating the value of an indicator in TradeLab, you can then, use it to do things that you wouldn't have been able to do unless you were able to go into the code and do math. But we'll just keep this simple. I'm going to remove all this, and we're just going to do money flow up, money flow down, and that will be it. So money flow increasing, and we need another one for money flow down, and this is just going to be money flow down, and that'll be fine. And now we're going to go and set a true or false variable, and we're going to say money flow status.
Hey Miles, I got confirmation. It's the small green and red dots. Not
Gotcha.
the big ones.
That would be for another time. I'm just going to make this simple. Alright, so we're going to say that if our variable for money flow status is set to true, that means money flow is increasing. If it's set to false, that means money flow is decreasing. So what we're going to do is rename this variable to money flow increasing. We're going to say if we have a type of alert that equals money flow up, we're going to set money flow status to true. Okay? And now we're going to do money flow decrease if we have a custom alert type is equal to money flow down. We're going to set our variable, our strategy variable, to false. Okay? So now TradeLab knows if money flow is increasing or if it's not increasing. On every bar, we should set the indicator to send an alert when it either is decreasing or increasing, okay? So the next thing we need to know is if price is crossing our line. So what we would do is we can do this one of two ways. We can create an alert in in TradingView off a horizontal line, or excuse me. Let's see, what's this value? Ah, it's a rectangle. Shit. Okay. 18516.5. Even better. BTC. Entering channel. Alright. So now in zone. Now we're gonna go back to our line. Sorry, we're gonna go back to our alerts. Jesus Christ, I have the worst cotton mouth I've ever had in my life.
Have you tried those mints? I think it's called like Flints or some shit.
I don't know, but I need them. I've drank so much damn water, it's crazy. I'm actually not going to do this way. I'm going to just make a horizontal line for simplicity purposes. So we'll
It's
make
easier.
our line. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep it simple for now because
We'll make our line. We'll go into our alert that we made for price crossing up. We'll copy our alert and we'll put it into the alert. We'll set the alert name to price crossing up line. And you all know the rest of the story. We set it to crossing up, the horizontal ray, whatever your option may be. I always use once per bar close, and we create it. Okay, it's that simple. Now we go back to our strategy, where we're gonna create another if condition that says if our type equals CU for crossing up, because that's what we defined in the alert. What do you all do next? So once it crosses up, what do we do?
well, I like to do multi-time frame, right? So like, let's say if it's crossing up on, let's say the 3 and 6 minute time frame, take the trade.
Okay. So to do that, what we would do is we would name these money flow in what time frame? 6 minute and 3 minute?
Correct.
Okay. So for that type of style, what you would also have to do on these is, if you recall, we are also sending, let me rename this. That's what I'm used to. The interval from TradingView. Okay. So we want to know that we've got an alert that money flow is increasing. But how do we know where that alert came from? What chart is it on? What time frame is it increasing on? We add another if condition that says if our custom alert interval is, it goes in minutes, so it would be 6. So if we get an alert that money flow is increasing up, and that alert came from time frame number 6, which would be 6 minutes, we want to set money flow's status to true, which means it's increasing. And please, I want to be clear, and I hope you all understand this. Just because I set this to true, that doesn't mean it's increasing, but that's just an easy way that we know that it's increasing, right? We've told ourselves that true means it's increasing, and if it's false, it means it's decreasing. Does everyone understand that concept?
Yeah. Okay. So you just that way it combines it into one. You don't have to do two
Do a
separate,
bunch.
like one for increasing
Exactly.
one.
Exactly.
I
So,
mean, what if there's like a middle ground though, right? Like I guess it's always doing one or the other. So
well, I mean, it's what we could have
yeah.
also done a string and said increasing, decreasing, not
Copy.
increasing. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you can be very specific. But this was just simple, and very to the point, right? So, and also these rules run in order. So, like, if you got more complex and down the line you had a different statement that said if a variable wasn't true and that alert didn't come in first, it wouldn't run it because of the condition not being set. That's very way down the line and more complex. We'll do that another day. All right. So
I got a quick question on that though, if I could.
go for it.
So is if I understood earlier, or maybe I didn't, is it possible to create a rule to ignore conditions and push a trade through?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
So you
That's
could
useful.
So what you would do in that instance is you would create a rule. I'm trying to think of a good example for this. So,
And the reason I'm asking, just in short, is let's say I come up with a strategy and it has 4 conditions, right? And I notice, trades happen when 2 out of the 4 happens. I can copy and paste that one strategy, make a rule to ignore 2 out of the 4 strategies, adjust my risk management, and call that a light version.
yeah, if you wanted, but so all right, so it's important to know you can have as many rules as you want. And in your one strategy, you can have as many entry rules as you want.
Over 9,000?
Over fucking 9,000.
That's crazy.
Like,
Also, to the point that you brought up a second ago, if you have 4 conditions and 2 of them are better than the other 2, you could split and do that. But you could also say, I want 3 of my 4 conditions to be true.
Right.
And in a lot of the examples that I've done and the examples that he's shown, like you're looking at, say, 4 conditions, and we'll make those all 4 variables, and then we'll have a exit rule or an entry rule that listens to check to see if those variables are all true, right, or false or whatever. But here's the thing. Those are all checking the 4 variables. If you want to do, say, 3 out of those 4, you could have one number variable and then just increase that whenever you hear one, right? So it's like, oh, well, I want to count up to 3. I don't need to wait till 4. As soon as I get to 3, I'll enter, right? And then you can still use the extra variables. You can make one for each, and that way you can make sure that one doesn't fire twice and gets counted as 2 instead of just 1. You could also say, hey, I want 3 of them to be ready, but one of them has to be this one. One of those sort of things. So there's a whole lot of, we've talked about like the Jason Casper and how he did the confirmations and everything. And the UI that I saw for his was very simple, and you could just go in and set up your confirmations. But the reason why I have you do it this way is all the little things that I just said. The way that you can position yourself and say, well, I want to do it this way instead of that way. That's why, it is the way it is. That's it.
Yeah, that's OP. I appreciate that.
and just as an example, what he's talking about is we can create a variable and we'll make it a number and we'll call it count, right? And it's just going to be 0 for now. But on every single one of these things that happen, we can set that variable, right? Or we can add to it, right? So we can literally do add and go to our strategy variable and go to count. And we're just going to add 1 every time this hits. And now down here on our, when we get a well, I was going to make our price crossing line an entry rule, but we could have another entry rule that says, well, if our count is 2, we've already met the conditions we want, we can enter. Or if our count is 5, we've met conditions enough to where we want to enter.
Right. And then as soon as you enter, you would have an exit rule that all it does is always set the count to 0.
Correct.
So that way your count is back to 0 when you go in and enter a new trade, right? And I mention that because it's important that anything you do, TradeLab does not have defaults, and we don't reset them. So if you have a line that's set at 2%, and then you move that line to break even, when you go back, you got to set your line to 2% in your entry rules, right? And the reason that is I wanted to bring this up. So he just made that count, and he can press add, right? And we'll add to it every time that runs. I just talked about resetting so that we can use that each time. But what happens if I didn't reset? I could create a variable called, fires, or how many times I triggered, a long or whatever. And you can make your own statistic. Just don't clear it. Just have it keep adding. And then whenever you go and look at your rule or your variables, you'll have a list of statistics of how many times this rule ran, how many times we break even, how many times we move TP2.
What's the total equity we've used to trade this strategy? All kinds of
Yes,
shit.
you can add up all of your amounts. Yeah, exactly.
I'm also sure that
Extendo
at some
bot.
point we could, like, I'm sure I'm sure it's kind of pointless to add a default option when you can just set it yourself.
Well, there's a lot of people who do kind of wish that there was a default so they didn't have to add extra rules and stuff. And when I do the strategy stuff with the bot generator, I kind of planned on having some sort of like defaults, maybe, right, to help people out. But yeah, I mean, for everybody who's like, oh man, I wish I didn't have to put, this extra reset in there. For everybody who has that frustration, there's always somebody who's like, oh man, well, I'm glad it doesn't reset because I can do this. You know what I mean? So
there's always the opposite of you, it seems. But you can do some really crazy shit that has not been possible before. But yeah, so let's continue on. Let me remove this.
I could make a bot to enter a trade every time the help bot pops up.
Yes, you can.
Bullish on the help bot.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go to Freshdesk right now and turn that off.
Bearish
right.
on the help bot.
Bearish on the help bot now. It's never coming back. Alright, so we know when our shit's up, we know when it's down. We gotta set our intervals, right? So these rules need to have the interval attached based off of how you all, want to do it. So we now know that excuse me. So let me ask you this. Do you all want to know if money flow is increasing on both time frames or just one?
Both.
See, this is the part that goes into, like, people don't realize what goes into building these strategies. You have to ask yourself these things, right? And plan for it. So now we have to go back and change this to money flow 6 min. Money flow, oh shit, wait a minute. Yeah, we would have to do it where we would have to add some new variables, right? So we need to add in a variable for money flow up on the 6 min. We'll just call it money flow up 6. We're going to need money flow down 6, money flow up 3, money flow down 3. So
This is where that count would come into play, because you could be like, hey, if you have money flow going up on 3 but not 6, and you have the divergences or something forming on 2 or the 3, you could just say, hey, take the trade.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and we'll need down 3 and up. You see when I said we're light years ahead of where Jason is? Does it make sense now? Like, the amount of shit that you can do is just ridiculous. Okay, so we already discussed these are going to be true or false. True is it's up, false is it's down. Wait, sorry. We don't need down. We just need money flow up on the 6 and money flow up on the 3. Because that's either going to be true or false. In fact, we could just call it money flow 3, money flow 6. But we'll call it money flow up, right? So are you all only taking longs with this strategy?
No, they're both.
Well, we'll just leave it as money
Yeah,
flow up 3 and 6.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is just like we've just kind of used a specific long because we're doing this based on levels trading, right? But like this isn't necessarily like a strategy.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that will work. So now we would change this to. Wait, what? Huh, those didn't delete. Weird. Alright. What the hell? Jake, do you see this?
No. What?
I think it's upset because of the help bot.
Huh.
I was gonna say to go bullish on the help out.
Is there a save button that I don't know about or something? Like, so watch, if I delete these
Above.
variables and then I
It's
go to
next
my
to the next to the quit.
next to the quit.
Yeah.
The fuck do you see a save button, Dan?
No. Stop what you're doing. Exit out of that. He's talking about the save at the top in the middle. But what are you asking?
Save button.
What are you asking? Save for what?
My stream's delayed, by the way, if you're watching it. So never mind. I don't know what I just did. Never mind. I had removed a variable and then I would leave and come back and they were still there.
They didn't delete.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see it until just now, and when I turned on the stream, I got double audio, so it was really confusing for a second. But so I mean, just try it again. So create another one and delete it.
Yeah, no, I'd never saved them initially. Yeah, see, so like if I create it and don't save it, and then I delete it, and then leave as if I was done, it doesn't do it. But if I save it and then delete it, it goes away. That's or not. Huh. Is there anything you want me to do, or now that you've seen it, do you just want me to go on, or?
Go
I mean, yeah,
to
if you're
go to trade settings and turn off lock alert symbol and hit save at the top, like in the main bar.
If this is on, then the strategy will only listen for alerts with the symbol you have selected in trade settings.
So turn that off and then hit save.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just sitting here waiting for the video.
Oh, shit. You want me to turn it on Discord? So you're not waiting for a delayed video?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
not just gonna crash your computer now, dual streaming.
No, I don't think that's... I think my computer just shit the bed because I hadn't restarted it in like a fucking 5 months. I turned it on, by the way.
Alright, so go back down to lock alert. Alright, and hit save again.
You want me to turn it back on or just hit save?
Save. Okay, refresh the page. Okay, scroll back down so we can see lock alert. Alright, go ahead and turn it back on. Press save. Go to variables. Okay, create a new variable. You gotta type in a name. You typed in the description.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. Alright, exit. Alright, which one did you add?
It's not here. I added money flow down 6.
Alright, so go to the alerts tab. No,
Or like the alerts tab here.
okay, now go back to variables. Okay. So delete that. Okay, now go to another one and come back. Okay. Alright, I'll just have to look at that.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. I haven't noticed that before. Nobody's ever told me that that was broken.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, I was like, this would be really hard for no one to have noticed. Alright, so moving on though. We would need to have, 2 alerts for each of these money flows, right? We would need a money flow increased on the 3 and a money flow increased on the 6. So we'll name this 6. We're gonna name this 3. We're gonna change our type to money flow. That was weird. Money flow up on the 6 minute. Make that a 3. Up 3 for the 3 minute. We're going to set our money flow up on the 3 minute to true. We're going to set our money flow up on the 6 minute to true. So now it knows that we have money flow up on both of the time frames. And we're going to do the same exact thing for money flow down. So this is... I gotta fix this. It's gonna bother me. Yeah, so that looks fine. And actually, that I want that to be first. This is going to be a 6. Okay. And we're going to do set our strategy variable to down. Oh, that's throwing me off. So we would set our strategy variable for up on the 6 minute to false, and we would just set our same strategy variable to false for the 3 minute. Save that. Damn, what the fuck? It made a ton of copies, I feel like. I don't remember doing that. Four. Alright. It was weird. Alright. Alright, so there's everything we need for the money flow. Enter trade. Now we're simply going to say if our strategy variables for money flow up on the 3 is true, and if our strategy variable for money flow up on the 6 is also true, and we get a custom alert for type, what did we call it? Price crossing up line. Let's just CU. We're going to place an order. And that's it. And that's how you would do J's levels. If you were wanting it to just be based off money flow, either being up or down, in price action crossing over the key level. That's it. That's all it would be. Does anyone have any questions about all of that?
I mean, not at the moment. I'm probably going to have to just run through everything myself on your guys' website and then see, reference this when I come to hiccups. Yeah, forward anything on.
Alright. Well, that was a long ass video.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, at 2 hours, like it's hard to focus enough to have articulate questions.